You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And we are in full spring mode. I was just outside the studio. I've got a beautiful, maybe a 1,200 square feet of wildflowers. They're not in bloom yet, but they are actively growing. It's very exciting to see. I mean, gardeners, we've been pent up way too long. We need to get outside, some fresh air, even if there's a chill in the air. Well, just fresh air is good for you. And so it looks like that last storm we had, what was that? I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, blew off the pollen. So my allergies do feel a little better. The junipers were going nuts. February was rough, first part of March. And now it looks like that pollen is down. So, but probably something else will take its place, pine trees or something. But I feel better and I want to be outdoors and my wildflowers are growing. My forsythia is in bloom. Purple leaf plums are in bloom. The Bradford pears opened this week beautifully. This large shade tree, 30, 35 feet tall, 12, 15, 20 feet wide. It's a big shade tree in solid, glorious white. I mean, in fact, I think it was storming last week and they decided, yeah, I'm going to bloom anyway. It just feels good. It feels right. And they bloomed and they just got better and better and better as the week progressed. And that's how the spring season is. Here in the mountains of Arizona, we don't just slowly warm up day by day. We add 1 degree till finally spring is here. Now we're going to be, it's warm today. There's snow tomorrow. It's warm again. It just does this violent back and forth day and night. There could be 50-degree swings in temperature between day and night, especially when a storm comes through. So as soon as you start to see things growing and blooming, they've leafed out, or they've got new flowers, or the evergreens have got new candle tips, or your roses are starting to flush new growth. As soon as you see that, and that'll be in April sometime, the next days, if it hasn't already started, you focus in the lower elevations, the Camp Verdes, Cottonwoods, Sedonas, I would say Mayer, Dewey, Humboldt, you folks, Baghdad, Hillside, Kirkland, Skull Valley, you folks have already started. I mean, spring is here. You should activate your irrigation. So as soon as you start seeing things in bloom, plants are using more moisture. It takes moisture to keep those flowers, whether it's setting a fruit on a peach tree or apple tree or apricot or nectarine or plum, or it's an ornamental tree like a purple leaf plum, which got that pink flower on it right now, or the Bradford pear I just mentioned. It's an ornamental pear tree. It doesn't actually form fruit. It just made there to, because pear flowers are so pretty white, and the leaves are so just a nice, rich, glossy green. The fall color is bright red. It's got a lot going on for it, but it doesn't form fruit. It's an ornamental flowering pear. As soon as you see flowers, you should activate your irrigation. And for established plants, that is, my landscape's at least 2 years old, you're going to water those plants once a week, a deep soak. That's trees, shrubs, vines, roses, things with a deep root structure, things that are shallow rooted. So let's say flowers, vegetables, maybe that's more your container garden, your lawn might be a different, more frequent schedule. But most of us have trees and shrubs. You want to keep those things healthy. I'd say water those about once a week. As soon as you see things waking up, that's your cue. Oh, Ken said I should turn my irrigation sometime on in April, whenever I see leaves and flowers on the plants. Go for it. And so I'm probably going to activate my irrigation this next week. Maybe this weekend, definitely next week. I'm going to turn it on and set the stage for once a week. I'll move. All my irrigation has been watering in the middle of the day through winter just because it's been cold. I didn't want the lines freezing. So I'll move that back to my spring schedule. And that'll be usually I'll try to water everything before the heat of the day. While I'm doing all the irrigation work, I'm going to set the clock. I'm going to turn it on manually. I'm going to walk the lines and do a maintenance tune-up of my irrigation. Make sure the pack rats didn't eat at the head off of an irrigation head, or I didn't break an elbow on the main distribution line. I'll just walk it and maintain it. Your irrigation needs a tune-up like you would before you'd go on a long road trip. You're going to take your car in for a tune-up and an oil change, check the tires. Well, your irrigation needs the same thing before the start of each season. Now's the time to do that. So just be aware. Or if you just don't see, you're just not sure when my things are blooming, when there's leaves out there growing, because plants are using a lot of moisture to keep that new foliage or new flowers going. If you just don't know, whenever you see us hit the 70-degree mark, so when it starts to hit 70 degrees, plants are actively growing, time to turn that irrigation on. And then also you're out of the risk of freezing. So you folks have, some of you, especially the higher elevations, the Groom Creeks and the Highland Pines, those ridge lines, the Seligmans, Ash Forks, you folks, you turn and you drain your system, you cover them, you actually deactivate it. But for those of us in the lower elevation, we tend to keep it going. So mine don't freeze. I have the irrigation going year round. I just move the time when it turns on to midday in the winter. Right now, I'm going to turn it back to, I want to water things before the heat of the day, not going into the evening. I don't want them to be wet going into the dark. But as the light first sunrise comes up, you see already that the daylight's getting sooner and sooner. I want my plants hydrated before the heat of the day. So I'll set that up. Maybe next week I'll cover that in detail. Once I set my irrigation clock, I'll be ready to talk about it. I'll share it on the airwaves. But until then, let's talk about herbs. So herbs, it is so the vegetable and herb season is starting. It is a good time to start putting in fresh herbal plants. There is no reason anyone that gardens in the mountains of Arizona, actually anywhere in the country, should have to ever purchase fresh herbs. I mean, I needed I was making a frittata for breakfast the other day, and I said I need some garlic greens. I walked around the garden, picked them and brought them in and used them right there. Oh, they were so good. My mouth's watering just thinking about fresh herbs. Oh my gosh, it's so good. You can grow herbs here, at least in Arizona, better than anywhere else in the country. The herbs love bright days, cool nights, dry. So we don't have all the melting issues with mildew and spotting and overwatering because it's too humid. We're like the perfect place for growing herbs. You can grow better herbs anywhere, in containers, in the ground, wherever. And so I would say the top producers, top sellers, the most popular, at least here at Watters Garden Center, are going to start with rosemary, just because some people like rosemary in the kitchen and some just like it pretty as a landscape shrub. It is pretty and it's in bloom right now. It's a great one. Not as many recipes call for rosemary, but when you do, oh, it's best on the grill. Oh my gosh. We had a roasted ham for Easter dinner. Well, we rotisserized this on the grill in the back deck. And on the tray underneath it, I put some fresh rosemary in that tray, just so it hit the water and you could smell the herbs. Put some lavender in there, some bay leaves. Oh, it was so good. And so that's what you can do with fresh herbs. So rosemary and lavender are kind of the most popular. Sage is probably the most popular in the kitchen. As far as you just use it all the time for a lot of different things. But creeping time. For the summer, well, mimosas, you gotta love mint. So that's spearmint for mimosas, but strawberry mint we have right now, pineapple mint, peppermint, all the mints. Mints are a weed. You can plant that right now and you'll be harvesting. I mean, actually, the more you pick the leaves, the fuller that plant gets. You can plant those now. The main thing with herbs, I noticed my best herb gardens are on the east side of my gardens. I can't say that. Some of my more sensitive herbs, like basil and cilantro, my east side. Rosemary will grow anywhere. Lavender, just about anywhere. Thyme reseeds everywhere. Oregano everywhere. But my best gardens with the best flavors, I just want to go out my herb garden, not just herbs in the landscape, but my herb garden is on the east side of my house. And it just does magically. And you can have that too. So, Anyway, that's it for this segment on herbs and just starting the planting season.
Growing up in Prescott, we knew spring was here when my grandmother's lilacs bloomed. I'm Lisa Watters Lain, and my grandmother would be thrilled with the new bloomerang purple lilacs at Watters Garden Center. They don't just bloom once in spring, they bloom again in summer. Mine bloomed 3 times last year, making spring last well into fall. Come check out all the heavenly new sights and scents that are making this spring the most beautiful ever. Lilacs like Grandma used to grow and better. Watters Garden Center in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in. You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are people talking about? Wow, you got a natural glow about you today. That looks good.
Because I've been running around the garden center.
My hottie gal. You've been married for a lot of years, and you still are the apple of my eye. You still catch my attention in a crowded room. You're still purty, honey. Anyway,
Thank you, dear.
We do radio together as well. We run a company together. So business partners. So anyway, Lisa comes and helps me just field questions. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good to be here.
It is.
Good to be here in spring, enjoying. It's a beautiful day today.
Feels like it, yeah.
Yes, I know we got a little bout of cold, and then it looks like it's up into the 70s.
I mean, it could be July, and there's a little bout of cold in the mountain. It could be a hailstorm with 3 inches of hail out there. So you just never know. That's the mountains. That's part of the beauty.
Right. And, people are always concerned, well, can I still plant? Well, yeah, we know it's going to get cold. Yeah, don't throw your tomatoes outside. But, yes, of course you can still plant. It's a wonderful time to plant.
The plants we have in the garden, all the fruit trees and the shade trees and the evergreens and the lilacs and the forsythia and the rhododendrons and the azaleas we don't bring those things in at night. They stay out there exposed to the cold. We're trying to acclimate them, that's what we call it.
Toughen them up.
Get them used to our climate. So even the greenhouses, we don't heat. We let them go down to ambient temperature. We just try to keep the frost off of them so they look fantastic all the time. But we're trying to acclimate them too. So we're not bringing them in. I mean, a summer plant, if you're like tomatoes, if you're planting zinnias right now, first of all, we don't have zinnias because it's too cold for them.
Right.
But we do have pansies and all the other spring things. Now is the time to plant those. So you plant them seasonally correct.
Right. Definitely.
It does feel like spring though. Finally, it's
nice.
It's during the day. I finally had just a t-shirt on. And I lost my winter weight, which is kind of good. So I look good in an apron. So we wear aprons at the garden center. For those who've never been, we all have aprons. That's how you ID us. It's anyway. And
I don't know.
My apron's thinning. It's thin. People are going, hey, you look pretty good. Spring's looking good on you. I'm going, well, thank you very much. I feel better about myself and my customers.
That's good. I wish I'd lose my winter weight. I'll have to work on that.
What garden questions do we want? Because I'm not touching the weight thing with you. I'm moving on.
You have learned something in 36 years.
Right.
I'm impressed. All right. So Cindy's out in Chino. So last year, her apple trees had a lot of codling moth worms in them. Just doesn't want to repeat that. Wants a good crop. She wants to make her applesauce and her apple pie. Without worms. She knows, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, easy. This is easy. Well, it's not easy. It's going to take some work. But if you know what to do, it's not that hard of work. So apples and pears, those two fruits get in them called what we call codling moth. It's a little tiny worm that's actually a moth larva. She comes and lays her eggs on your fruit. The larva stage comes in and burrows its way and lives inside the fruit until it matures, comes back out, burrows its way back out, and then flies around and lays more eggs. So we call them codling moths. We can have up to 2 to 3 waves of codling moths per season because we've got such a long season. And so she loves to lay her eggs into that pollinating fruit. So as the apples or pears bloom, they're pollinating. There you see bees floating around, moths are floating around, and they're pollinating all the flowers. Well, just as the petals start to drop, she goes, hey, if I were to lay my egg right inside that flower, the fruit will actually form over my egg, and then it's protected from all the ladybugs and all the other things that eat my children, and they'll be good to go. And so the best time to spray, the absolute best, is just as it looks like this, like it's snowing, only with flower petals from your fruit trees. Spray it right then with horticultural oil. It will obliterate them. So it coats that egg. They're always active about right then. There's a repelling action to it, kind of coats the flower to it. So hit them with hort oil. It's organic. It's as safe as you can get, just as the petals drop. Now you've got you said 2 to 3 waves. So now you've got smaller fruits and they come back at you again. Oh my gosh, these things are irritating. She'll lay her egg on the outside of the fruit. The larva will hatch, burrow in. Once it's inside the fruit, there's no getting it out. Then burrow back out when it's mature. The only way to know when the next waves of codling moths hit you is by putting up what's called a codling moth trap. You hang a little tiny, it's got a pheromone in there, and a kind of a love attractant for codling moths. And nothing's in there for weeks. All of a sudden you go check that trap and there's like 3 moths in there. No. Where'd they come from? The next night you come in, there's like 10 moths. Like at the end of the week, there's like, the thing is filled with moths. Codling moths are busy. They're making whoopee on my fruits, and they're going to be filled with worms if I don't do something. So that's your cue. Now the Google machine says, codling moths, just hang one, solves all your problems. That is a total lie. All a trap does is a monitoring system to know, when do I spray next? Mm-hmm. So when the trap has a lot of moths in it, that's when that's a cue. Spray it right then. And so just about anything will take out a codling moth. So your oils are kind of organic and natural and safe. We've got an inside-outside spray that's good for fruit trees. Come see us if you see that. Get a codling moth trap mainly. So, and if it's early enough, you could probably spray with hort oil again. I think you can spray horticultural oil up until 85, close to 90 degrees, and then it gets too hot for it. So there's a temperature cutoff that does that. But come see us. We can help you grow worm-free, or relatively. You only have a few worms. Something gross. I did bite into an apple once. Only the wiggling body. Half the body was in my mouth. Gross. Half was wiggling the apple. I'm going, okay, that's kind of gross. Moving on. Use a knife.
All right. Our next question is from Lauren. She says, I love the idea of using natural predators to get rid of aphids and other bad insects.
Sure.
But do ladybugs and praying mantis, do they really work well enough out in your yard?
Well, sure they do. Yeah, Lauren, first of all, it's fun. If you got kids, you need those because it's just fun. If you release ladybugs into the yard, you're going to have ladybugs for the rest of the season in your yard. You might, release 500 ladybugs, but every ladybug your kids spot in the yard from that point for the rest of the year, you get credit for. Whether they flew in naturally from 100 miles away or right next door, or you released them, you get credit. I mean, that's just a win. That's like, if you got grandchildren coming to visit, get ladybugs. It's awesome. It's fun to let them crawl around and just release them. But they are winged. They do fly away. So that's a negative. So generally what we say is we have ladybugs, we have light praying mantis now, we have the red wigglers, we've got all the beneficial insects you'd want to release into your yard. We have them here at Watters Garden Center now. You can put them out now. If you see aphids, let's say on your yuccas or your rose bush or your fruit trees or your wherever you see a problem, take the ladybugs, wet down that area where the aphids are. Don't hose them off, just moisten it. And then release the ladybugs at the base of the plant. They're not going to fly away from the mulch or the rocks underneath. They're going to crawl up. And as they crawl up, they're going to find stuff to eat because they're ferocious. And they're going to eat them. And as long as there's food there, they're going to keep eating. As soon as they're done, as soon as that food source is gone or your problem's gone, they're going to take flight and fly to the next available food source. Might be the rose bush next over, or it might be down the street. We don't know, but they're going to be flying around looking for food. Moisture, because they're thirsty. So the moisture keeps them around. So they're going to have a drink and then they're going to have an eat. So those two things, and then release them at night. So they're doing this. If it's just light, they're going to go, oh, this sparkly's over there. Look, I'm going to fly away. But at night, they don't fly at night. So if we release them at the base of the plant, moisten that area first, and then let them go. Praying mantis are different. That's an egg casing. So you put this praying mantis egg case out there, then they release later when it's temperature related. Well, I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be later than
temperature
now.
related.
It's temperature related. Well, we are out of time like that. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Garden.
Watters Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, poppy, columbine, and our purple twist plum.
This Arizona plum is the ideal purple tree between evergreens.
Blooms in a profusion of pink flowers that precede the deep purple foliage.
Large enough to use as a front yard tree and behaved enough to use as a street tree.
Plant pairs flanking gateways, driveways, or an orchard like rows to screen neighbors.
Purple Twist Plum can only be found at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in. You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So I've had quite a number of people texting, calling, emailing, coming into the garden center because we had a hydrangea drop for Mother's Day show up earlier in the week. People are going, oh, we could grow hydrangea? What's going on? I didn't know that. Give me the insight. I thought I'd take a moment and just share the different types of hydrangea and how to grow them here in the mountains of Arizona. And yes, they do very well if you get the right variety. The secret is you need the newer varieties that bloom or repeat bloom on new wood. So they're kind of like berries. Grapes, not so much grapes, blackberries, raspberries. Typically, they're going to fruit on last year's long cane that grow out. That's the one that's going to grow all the berries. Many of your old-fashioned hydrangeas are the same way. So they're going to bloom that huge pom-pom size flower that's as big as your head, some of them. They typically used to bloom on last year's new cane, basically branch that showed up. That's where the flower came on. What would happen is in the mountains of Arizona, because we get such extreme weather, we've seen that the last month. It's nice, it's cold. It's nice, it's cold. That same thing can mess with certain plants, especially hydrangeas. So many times they would reset. They would come back, no problem. They're good down to, I think, minus 20 degrees, some stupid cold we'll never see. I know this is broadcast up in the White Mountains, Flagstaff. You might see that, but us in the middle central parts of Arizona, Sedona, Cottonwood, Cornville, you guys are tuned in. We saw you last weekend. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, Seligman, Wickenburg, you guys tuned in from there. You're coming up the hill to get out of the heat. I love it. Come see us. They're going to grow just fine in those areas. They're zone 4 to 9. They grow almost anywhere. But what would happen is if we got real cold, it would burn back the foliage and it would hibernate underground like a perennial. Well, that's fine. It comes back with this lush, new, glorious, big leaves would show up, but no flowers. That's because it's an old-fashioned variety. The new Seaside series. We got a new series and new introductions of hydrangeas where they're exotic new colors and they bloom on new wood. So if it gets it blooms on last year's wood, and if it happens to be killed back or hibernates underground, it's going to come back fresh with flowers on the end. So guaranteed big pom-pom kind of flowers. with that series. So you got to get the right variety. I'm not trying to bamboozle you or anything. Just this is the insider scoop. My name's Ken. We're just sharing what really is happening with some of your hydrangeas. And so the newer introductions, they're still under patent. They cost a little bit more because they're the desired varieties. So you'll find at your box stores, they've got, they're a little bit cheaper. Yeah, and they'll bloom great this year. But that's the only bloom you're probably going to find because it gets set back. It's an older variety that's kind of off patent. It's a lesser, it's just a lesser. Anyway, for whatever reason, that's it. Now, blue hydrangeas, blue. Okay, let's cover how to keep hydrangeas blue. Or do you even want to try? So what happens is hydrangeas love acidity. The acid soils make them turn blue. Well, we've got very alkaline. Our water's alkaline, our soil's alkaline, our air is alkaline, everything's alkaline. So it's the opposite. So what happens is your hydrangeas will naturally want to kind of go on the more kind of pink side. So because of the alkalinity, the pH just kind of creeps up. And so you naturally get this. There's ways to treat that. We've got special fertilizers. I've got a aluminum sulfate. You can sprinkle on there, makes it very acidic. I've got a fancy flower power fertilizer. It's mainly phosphorus. It's kind of real high acid. There's ways to trick it. For me, what I do is I'm not fighting all that. I just want beautiful blooms, great green foliage, and I'm happy if it's blue with a light pink, or I just buy the red ones or the pink ones. I don't even fight it. I'm going to go all pink. That's the ones I want. And they just get more, they're glorious. So that's why some of the colors get muted here in this little bubble of the Southwest. They aren't going to be as blue as they would be in Michigan or, the Wisconsin, or they grow everywhere. So you folks are famous for your hydrangeas kind of to the East Coast side. Here, they will grow just as well, but they'll be on the pinker side of blue. That and hydrangeas do not like our wind and our sun. So you got to spot them just right. So other parts of the country out there in the landscape, just take it in the sunshine. They love it. But that's at sea level in a humid climate. Here it's dry and we're high elevation. So here they are going to do fantastic. Like I grow mine in containers on the north side of my house. I've got some beautiful patios, big 2-story house. We overlook the north side. It is made for hydrangeas and gardenias. They're surrounded. I got lots of them. They're beautiful, but I put them where they're protected from the wind and they aren't going to see very much sun. So north side, east side of your gardens, under the canopy of trees, that you place them right and you don't try to fight the alkalinity. They're going to thrive for you. So that's how you grow hydrangea. I'll tell you how to pre-order yours at the end of the show or something if I have time. That's how you grow hydrangeas here in the mountains of Arizona. Water's companion plants for April are purple twist plums, perfume lilacs, columbine, and Arizona gaillardia.
Gaillardia is the perfect mountain perennial with huge fiery flowers on a compact plant.
She loves the heat and super drought hardy.
You can count on this bloomer to show off all summer long in raised beds, containers, or in the garden.
Javelina and rabbit proof. This bloomer is a must-have Arizona plant.
Arizona gaillardia, found at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in. You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain. She comes each week and just shares her garden insights. Just what is she seeing? What's tickling her heart? What does she see? Just what looks great in her gardens, her neighborhood. Plus, I just like sharing studio time with her. So, Lisa, welcome back into my world, the studio.
Your world.
Well, we work together every day, so
I think it's our world.
How do I make that more romantic?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to work again, honey. I'll see you at dinner.
I was saying we hardly ever see each other at work, so
we do give each other our own space
Yes,
or
we
lanes.
do.
So I think that's how you run a small business. It's either going to destroy your marriage, or it's going to be the best thing ever. It can go both ways, but you better
Depending
respect
upon the
each
day,
other.
too.
Depending on the day or the stress. So, but we work pretty well together.
We do.
It's a good family business.
Mhm.
I'd do it again.
I would, too. It's
Yeah,
actually been
right.
very good to us.
It has.
Yeah.
Garden center business been very, very good to us.
No.
I'm doing voices. You better take over now. So I see you got an amaryllis there. It's stunning.
So,
We should
yes.
show that
So,
off.
a couple of weeks ago, I brought in just the bulb.
Yeah.
And we talked about it and said, these are going to be amazing. They're going to be gorgeous. And so I brought one in that's blooming. Just to show people.
You better back it up. The flower's too big on the screen.
Isn't that pretty? So this is just one of the varieties. I think we had 4 different varieties in, but absolutely gorgeous. And literally, you do nothing.
Nothing.
So
blooms
watch
like
it.
this for a month and a half and nothing.
And it's gorgeous. And I know we still have some left from our first load, but we're also bringing some in
for Mother's Day.
Probably fairly soon here for Mother's Day, but absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful to watch it grow.
It has the amaryllis. Just describe those folks that are driving down, or going over to Trader Joe's or wherever. So an amaryllis bulb is like it's basically like a tulip, only on absolute steroids. So it's 10 times larger than a tulip bulb. So we've dipped it in wax and we put a wire base at the bottom so it stands up straight on a table or a desk or whatever. Great gift for spouse, great gift for a colleague, great gift, just a great gift, or just for you. Skip a gift, something fun for you as a gardener. And then the amaryllis will sprout up, and it will have this 1 to 1.5 foot tall stalk. And then these clusters of flowers. This has got 4 ginormous flowers, and then more bulbs are.
It's got like 2 or 3 more coming
out. So this would be at least 1 foot across, covered in a flower bouquet. It's a living, breathing bouquet, but because we've dipped this bulb in wax, you never water it. You never care for it. In fact, it looks like this one's actually coming up with a second stalk. This might actually bloom over 2-3 months is what will happen. But amaryllis are famous at Christmas. We're trying to make them famous at Easter and at Mother's Day. And so we've got some that are dipped in rose blossoms. We've got some that are dipped in moss. The Mother's Day ones are going to have moss with some succulents coming off the side. They're just cute as can be. Oh my gosh, gardeners are going to go nuts. So amaryllis, that is pretty. Does it smell?
I don't know.
They don't smell.
My smeller's off, so I can't tell you.
They don't smell. They just
but they're
look pretty.
beautiful and just so easy to take care of and enjoy. But I wanted to show people. We showed them the bulb. This is what they turn into.
You folks on Spotify and Apple, you just get to see it all.
You have to come into the store and see what they look like. The store
even better. Thanks for sharing that again.
Sure.
Perfect.
So we are still having a busy. So we've had trucks after trucks after trucks. We unloaded one just this morning.
Back hurts. Yeah.
So we unloaded one today that has more of our fruit trees on it.
Yeah.
So more of those specialized fruit trees, the cocktails, the 4-in-1 apples, 3-in-1.
Any dwarfs? I've got more. We ran out of dwarf. We true genetic dwarf. We need dwarf trees.
We got dwarf nectarines and dwarf peaches in several of them.
Good.
So we have a really good supply of those dwarfs, which are just so fun to grow, whether you do them in a container or out in your yard. So easy to pick the fruit from because they're all right at your level.
So protect from frost.
Protect from frost.
Keep the animals off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So definitely have a good selection of those. We have an amazing selection of the KV plums, the ornamental plums, which are blooming right now throughout town. They have kind of that pinkish blossom to them. They put on the burgundy leaf. This is a terrific tree for here. It's kind of a no muss, no fuss tree. Once it's established, it's just tough as nails. So
I was going to feature that this week in our article, but we didn't have enough of them. We ran out. So I'm glad to hear we got more. I'll feature them maybe next week. I'll just go purple leaf plum, purple. I forget what name I gave it, but
something wild, I'm sure.
Something fun that describes it better than plum tree that
Okay.
blooms.
We also have a great selection of red buds. We have weeping red buds. We have Merlot red buds. We have vanilla twist red buds. Eastern, Oklahoma's, just a really nice selection of all those red buds, which will be probably blooming within the next week or
I
two.
think Prescott Valley was starting to
Are
they're
they
starting to
starting to
crack colors
show?
out there. So
Yeah.
the warmer areas,
It's starting to
especially where
show
the sun
already.
is showing. I
Mhm.
think the commercial setting areas, that's a tough plant.
Yeah.
They put it in commercial settings, asphalt and trucks.
Mhm.
It was starting to crack color. So
Yeah.
I think by this time next week, they'll be in full
They'll be in
bloom
full bloom.
at the lower elevations.
Gorgeous
especially.
when they bloom. Crab apples. Crab apples are probably becoming one of my more favorite flowering trees. They just have that really big blossom to them. They really make a show.
Yeah, brighter colors.
Right now, the spring snow are blooming at the store.
Nice.
Oh, so fragrant. You walk by and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to stand here for a while
Therapy session.
and enjoy this. But we have royal raindrops. We have prairie fire, radiant crab apples. We've got the spring snow. We've got some, they call it a Sprite. It's a real mini little one. So nice
fruitless,
selection of those.
Yeah.
So blooming trees, fruit trees, it is premium time to come pick out what you want. We also have a wonderful selection of cool season veggies, which we're still in that. It's not tomato time yet for most
tomatoes,
of you.
Though.
We have them,
peppers,
but you got to have a greenhouse or a way to protect them.
Yeah.
But we have lots that you can put in now and not have to worry about protecting your kale, your lettuces, broccoli, all those kind of cool season stuff, peas, good to put in now. Wonderful selection of herbs. So I love herbs. I think they're just totally underutilized in our area. And so many of them are perennial. I mean, they're coming back year after year after year. Now, we don't have the true warm one, basils, those guys, but we got the ones you can definitely put out now. The sage, the rosemaries, the lavenders, mints,
oregano,
lots of mints, lots of oreganos, lots of thyme. And it's a wonderful time to get it going. And you can grow those in containers. You can grow them in some people like to do an herb garden or a raised herb garden bed. Just so many different ways to use them. You can put them in your pots with your pansies. I mean, you just use them so many different ways.
Yeah, it's true.
We're getting some wonderful hanging baskets that are now coming in. The calabacoa. Sometimes
it was exciting to see this come off the truck. The first big load of big showy flowers.
So a lot of calabacoa, which is the million bells. Some people know them as million bells. This is looks like a small petunia, but my gosh, they just bloom, bloom, bloom all season long. Great plant for here. Some gorgeous hanging geranium plants, the ivy geranium and the regular geraniums that are in. So
those will take a bit of frost. Yeah. So they're not going to die with, I mean, hard freeze, maybe cover them or bring them indoors, but they love growing this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So a lot of color, lots of pansies and violas, unique colors, not just your blue.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some really specialized colors and they're really, really pretty. In the perennials, we're starting to get our Salvia greggii in for those people that want to attract those hummingbirds into their yard. That's a great one for it.
Gardenias, I saw those were starting to bloom.
They're blooming. So, I kind of just stand by them and smell them too.
Therapy session. If you feel stressed, come to the garden center.
Definitely.
We tell the staff, if your back hurts, go smell the crab apples. If you had a bad customers, go smell the gardenias.
Yeah.
If you need some therapy. Take some you time.
Right.
And then come back to work.
And then get back to work. So a lot of azaleas are starting to bloom right now too. So you got to come in and check all this stuff out.
So we'll show them one last time.
Okay. There's the amaryllis.
But we are out of time. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners.
Watters Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, columbine, purple plum, and our Prescott poppies.
These silk beauties look delicate, but really one of the toughest bloomers in the gardens.
These wildflowers come in vivid colors of orange, red, pink, and white that are ideal for the hard-to-grow areas in your yard.
You're going to love your backyard again.
Prescott poppies can only be found at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in. You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening it can be challenging. But with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with the Mountain Gardener. A beauty of being kind of a radio host, garden center owner, business person here in town is that you know everyone. And so John Murphy is doing a fundraiser, Rock the Gardens, for the Prescott Food Forest. We support that big. We've been at the very beginning. I said, John, you have to come to the studio and you have to share this, what's going on. So John Murphy's a local realtor. He's plugged into all kinds of stuff, a local philanthropist, he's a local, he's one of us. And he loves gardening. He loves our community, and he's trying to get money for community gardens. So John, welcome to the Mountain Gardener.
Hey, Ken, it's so good to be here.
Yeah.
And thank you for your kind words. It is great to be part of the Prescott community. And we've known each other for quite a few years.
Forever, yeah, it seems like.
And, I started the Prescott Food Forest. And the Prescott Food Forest is located at Be Organic Farm in Chino Valley.
Yeah.
And my nonprofit foundation, Make 100 Healthy, as in Make 100 Years Healthy, is a 501c3. And every year we do a fundraiser to raise money for our gardening education programs, to grow food, and actually to give it away to the needy. So it's a win-win-win. We have gardening classes going on right now as we speak every Saturday.
Oh, cool. So if listeners want to get in on that, do they go to that, or how do they get plugged into that?
Well, you can go to our website.
Gotcha.
PrescottFoodForest.com. The spring season is sold out, but we have a summer gardening season, and it's a similar format, but we concentrate on more summer plantings
totally
and so
makes
forth.
sense.
So it's great. It's from 10 to 12 for 6 weeks. And one of the reasons we raise money is that we give people scholarships to the class.
Very cool. Yeah,
So
that's good.
It's
Okay.
a $99 6-week course, but through the generous donations of our sponsors, like, for example, Ed Walsh from Lamb Chevrolet,
Sure.
we are able to give out scholarships. And what we ask in return for aspiring gardeners is to give volunteer time at the farm. Again, it's win-win.
Sure. Yeah.
So one of our big events, which we did last year, which you were part of, and thank you so much for Watters Garden Center support, is the Rock the Garden Open Golf Tournament. And the title is cool because we are opening the garden and we are rocking the place. We have live bands and DJs throughout the golf course.
That's cool.
And so on hole number 1, we have a group called Totally Reckless. They play around town. They were there last year. They rock. So we're rocking music. On hole 7, we have DJ Josh Orlando, and we have Solstice Ridge 2 up there, and we have free drinks, and it's just going to be a great event. It's a shotgun format.
Great.
It's on
It's always
Tuesday,
nice. Yeah.
April 29th,
Okay.
which is coming up soon. Tuesday, April 29th, 9:00 shotgun at the private and exclusive, the club at Prescott Lakes, and I'm a member there.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so they told me, they said, hey, John, we're cutting down on the outside tournaments because our members, want to play more.
Sure.
So if you love golf, you want to play an exclusive course that you don't necessarily have access to, and you want to help a great cause like the Prescott Food Forest, this is it. Rock the Garden Open. It's on Tuesday, April 29th. You can go to Prescott Food Forest / PrescottFoodForest.com/rock on. And we have special discounts right now. I think it's $325 for a twosome, $650 for a foursome. That includes a lunch, awards banquet, swag bag, all kinds of great things. And then on the putting green, we have Watters Garden Center presenting for the second year, the Putting for Plants, where you get it into the cup and you get to get a plant and you have a chance to win a putter. So
nice. Yeah, that's fun.
It's
Totally fun.
It's been great. We were sold out last year. We only have at this moment 7 foursomes left.
Okay.
So it's going to be sold out. We are doing a great job to teach people how to grow food, especially the next generation.
Absolutely. It needs to be done. It's such an important
I know
thing.
you believe in that.
Yeah.
We call them the gardeners of destiny, the next generation. And It's so important to be able to be self-sustainable, to be able to grow food, to know how to do it. Whether you necessarily have to do it, hopefully you never really have to do it, but you want to get nutritious, non-GMO, locally grown food. There's nothing healthier than that. And with Bobby Kennedy as the new Secretary of Health and Human Services, he's a big advocate of Victory Gardens. And
big time.
We have our Victory Garden family program. So we do a lot of things in the community. We do it on the farm. We give away 80% of the food that we grow. Yavapai Food Bank,
Nice.
The Paulden Food Bank, the Crisis Pregnancy Center in Chino. We have the Solid Rock Food Ministry. And we just added St. Vincent de Paul that came to us and asked us if we could put them on the recipient list. And it's kind of a great thing because those that are less fortunate, that are homeless, that are struggling, they usually get the worst food. Well, in this case,
They
they're
get
getting the best food.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's such a great feeling to do that.
Yeah.
So this guy,
I have taken some of my own produce down to some of those. Those are all very good food banks.
Absolutely.
And they've got big refrigerators in the back. You'd think it would go right in there. They get it out. No, it goes right on a truck. It's used literally that day.
There's a lot of need. There's a lot of need out
tremendous
there.
The need that's out there.
It's
For
a
fresh,
shame.
canned is different.
Yeah.
The processed foods, that's different. But fresh, there's such a need for fresh foods at the food banks. It's such a great cause.
And the nutrition that they get
Yeah.
is so beneficial to somebody who's struggling. You may be having some mental issues. Guess what? The nutrient-dense food is going to help them on their journey. So that's what we're doing.
I find also just the younger generation, there's interest in gardening because it's therapy. It's a
Absolutely.
mental thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good for your body. It's good, but just to be out there to unplug from your phone and be in the garden that's a thing with the next generation coming up. And it's pretty serious.
100%. The kids love to grow food. They are more educated on what is healthy for them. Lemons and turmeric and ginger and spinach and spinach loses 70% of its nutritional value in 1 week. Well, it usually takes 1 week to get from the farm being picked, maybe a little prematurely, till he gets it to the store. So locally grown, we're big proponents of the farmers market. And so we appreciate your support. If you want to play golf, please join us at the second annual Rock the Garden Open.
Give them the website again. So it's $325 for a couple, $600 something for a foursome. You got 7 open,
and it's at $175 for a single.
Okay, gotcha. And if they wanted to go, hey, put my name on the list, you don't want to call on you. You go to a website for that, right?
Yes.
Where do they go?
You go to prescottfoodforest.com/rock on,
Gotcha.
and you can sign up right there.
Perfect.
And let me tell you, a good time is had by all. The swag bags
are
full of goodies. Last year you did the dessert sponsor, and so everybody walked away with a Watters cookie, which was nice. And we have an awards banquet after. We put a very healthy lunch, and we honor somebody each year in honor of my mom who passed, called the Arlene's Angels Award. And we are actually taking nominations, and we're getting some great local people. And the criteria is if you or anyone you know is a giving person, is a teacher, is an inspiration. That's what my mom was. And we give away a $500 presentation. Last year, legendary Hall of Fame local golfer John Gumby won, not because he's a golfer, because he led the Special Olympics. He works with the vets. The year before, Stephanie Leon, who's our director, she won. And the first year, Ann Harrington won. And she actually took a plant-based food program, online course, and got certified with our help. So we're doing good stuff. You have fun. Listen to music, support a great cause. The Prescott Food Forest is sharing gardening education in the Quad City area. And so the golf is just one. It's a shotgun.
It's
going to be
fun
cash
that you've
prizes.
got bands right on the greens. That's pretty cool. Your shotgun starts, the pressure's off for most of us because I'm not the best golfer. And then you can listen to music and have something out there and kind of
well, we have some complimentary drinks, and also, but on hole number 5, Lamb Chevrolet is giving away a car if you get a hole in one.
Oh, nice.
We're doing all these different games. We are We have tons of prizes, tons of support. So I
One
guarantee
more time,
you,
where to go. So
you
it's
go
Prescott.
to prescottfoodforest.com/rock on. Secure your spot. There's only going to be a few left.
Yep.
We appreciate your
Come
support.
out and play
All
with
the
us.
net proceeds go to our programs, our nonprofit, and it's just our way of helping the Prescott and the Quad City areas
John
do good.
Murphy and the Prescott Food Forest Rock the Gardens, April 29th. You heard it here. Go ahead and, if nothing else, make a donation to a great cause or play golf with us.
Watters Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, poppy, purple plum, and our white night candy tuft.
Masses of fragrant white flowers cover mounds of perennial green foliage.
Extreme heat and cold tolerance, this award winner repeatedly blooms without deadheading for super easy care.
Butterflies, bees, hummingbirds are going to love your backyard again.
White Night Candy Tuft can only be found at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in. You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. All right, I had mentioned at the bottom of the hour how to grow or what varieties of hydrangeas you can grow here in the mountains. Now, mine is not in bloom right now. We've had some weather, so it's been some snow, it's been some cold, it's been some warm, but the hydrangeas, they are leafing out like crazy. So there's no holding them back. They start to leaf out when the peonies start to grow up. So they kind of keep going and they start to bloom, usually in May sometime. And so we are forcing 5 different varieties of hydrangea. And they're all the repeat blooming, they're blooming on new wood. They're repeat bloomers. They're the preferred newer colors. They're the big pom-poms. Like they're not the summer. There's some August varieties that get real tall, have big white long flowers, kind of elongated, it's like a lilac bloom on steroids. It's not that. And they're typically only white. The brightly colored ones you see on the front of magazines, the ones you see in all the design style stuff, they will grow in your yard. They're the ones with the fancy pom-pomed colors. I mean, a bush will have, 10, 15 color. I mean, they're just loaded. I would encourage you. Now, I've got a blue series. It's called Newport Hydrangea. It's pretty blue, but it's going to have some, if you've grown them in other parts of the country, it'll have a pink hue. I actually prefer the Kitty Hawk variety. It's a light pink, but it's got the most fragrance. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And the light color over the dark foliage is just striking, especially if you got it in a container up close by where you're watching sunsets or sipping your coffee in the morning. It's the one. I've got the Hamptons, which is it's a brighter pink with a red edge. I've got Martha's Vineyard. That one is red. I mean, it's like, wow, I've never seen that color, because you've never seen that color, because you can only get it if you pre-order it. And I'm sure I'm going to run out before they even get here. So, but they're all out there now. And then the last one, Cape's Lookout. It's just a pure white. It's beautiful and a great fragrance. So you got 5 varieties. I'm working to see if I can't add to this. These are all Mother's Day gifts. So you order them now, then they arrive the week prior to Mother's Day. So you got to get them now. You can't come into the store and get them. They're not going to be here. They're arriving the first week in May. That's just the only way. I might be able to secure a few others. I have a feeling I will completely run out of these, and I'll see if I can get some other stragglers out there, some other varieties. These are the ones. These are the ones you want. Either for your mothers, for gifts, or for yourself. These are the ones. If you're thinking hydrangeas, just make sure you've got them in a shaded area, out of the wind, and they will thrive. They'll be beautiful. They'll be exactly what you're seeing in the magazines. I'm trying to collect some dinner plate dahlias. I think I got a hook on. I'm trying to see if the crop will be ready. A mystic blue salvia, a butterfly magnet. It should be great. and some hanging baskets. So I'm trying to get some new varieties of vinca, I think calibrachoa. So we'll add to the collection. It's from now through April 13th or 14th, one of those two. If you want to take a look at that, if you're in our ecosystem, you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, you're seeing it. But if you want to go directly to watersgardencenter.com, it's right there. So you right up front, you can buy them right now. And then we'll put your name on it when they show up. We go, hey, they're here. Come pick up. I think the pickup is May. Don't go 3rd, 4th. No, it's April 29th through May 3rd, something like that. It's midweek or something. That's going to be the pickup date. So you buy them now, pick them up later. That's how you grow hydrangeas. Those are the varieties you can have. And yes, you can grow those from Watters Garden Center. Watters Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, poppy, purple plums, and our songbird columbine.
This graceful beauty dances in the shade of the garden, holding its head high, smiling back at you.
This bloomer comes back each spring with lacy green foliage, promptly followed by amazing two-tone flowers.
An excellent cut flower that is both deer and rabbit resistant.
So hardy, some varieties naturally call Arizona home.
Songbird columbine can only be found at Watters Garden Center in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.